All of this is very orchestrated, as by now I think people know. This whole thing has been about my being kidnapped and who I am, who my father is, and my mom, where they brought me and what they've done to me and what they've done to the Brits. Most of all, what they've done to my sons who are heirs after me. By the way, I just looked on Google, and up by the Queen, they're talking about the illegal Elizabeth. They are running every day this thing about Wallace Simpson and how bad that the Duke of Windsor was, aka, according to them, King Edward VIII, which is a total lie. Um, Orchestrated to take him down, character assassination, and they did. So, I mean, they're bringing all that back up. I don't know, but at this time, because of Meghan Markle, they started putting it up and comparing her somehow to Wallace Simpson and saying that that's my father. It's not. It's an illegal and impostor. It's an illegal title, Duke and Duchess of Windsor. And what I'm going to say here, if I can, I've just moved across the hall to another room, and it's the only room they had available, he said. And it looks like they're doing me a favor, and they're told where to move me, what rooms to give me, and you can flip a switch up behind the desk. I can guarantee you, I've been through this and been told it, because nobody will take it into court, an attorney. And they can always turn around and say you're lying or you're nuts. But anyway, this time they put me next to the voltage, a great big thing that carries the electricity and stuff, I guess, all over. The minute I got all my stuff in here, though, down my ears that burst the other day, the eardrum. I don't know, I'm allergic to chemicals, and they have run me with them from place to place. And I have become so sick, and my eardrum burst the other day, and it bled, and this one's going out. And now that I come back here on this side across the hall, because that one I just put up the pictures of the air conditioning and the mess it was in, and even if they didn't turn in, flip a switch and turn stuff on to come up toxic fumes, that was enough to kill me. So I come in here, and now then I know the electrical. It's a great big kind of well, I don't know if you call it a substation. Great big thing outside, huge, long. So I'm right by it. I do know that voltage and stuff, if you have an immune disorder, it can affect you, my immune system. But anyway, I'm just about dead now. So, and I can tell sitting here that it's bad. um, I've been where they had electricity, those huge lines coming in. Well, I've been told that it can't. I forgot what they call it, ions or something, I guess is what that it puts out that hurts you. But anyway, I don't know if I make it or not, but I put those up. I'm not, because it's going to burst my other eardrum. And what they do is, it looks like they're doing me a favor. They will sometimes help me move, but they're told what room to move me to. I meet myself coming back, and when I try to leave, why, to another state, or have to run back and forth, or I've had HUD housing a few times. And by the way, this is federal, and all of them have gotten away with it. You talk about a conspiracy. I was living in Edinburgh, and that was HUD back in '06, and I'd been homeless for a long time, lived on the Appalachian Trail, starved, froze, everything in the book. You can't tell it. It's so horrible. But anyway, I got in at Edinburgh. Notice the name of it, Edinburgh, and as in the monarch. um, anyway, I got in there, and right away the fumes were pouring out. A woman across the hall's name was Carol Rogers Simon, and her ex-husband, was a psychiatrist in Seattle. And she said to me, "You're paying for what your relatives did to the Jews, the Holocaust." And she was referring to the chemicals that are being dumped on me. I hadn't said anything to her about who I am or anything. she already knew. I don't know what she was doing there in that low income housing. She got the apartment because I had to leave that I had and what I had in it. And as far as I know, the last time I went by there, she's still there. So she's living okay. Now, I want to get back to something I wrote about mind control. I work for doctors, and Larry Flynn, I've said that and shown the endorsement he did. I was in a political campaign. I've told all about that and flown out to his home. Um, and now I'm going to forget because I'm so sick right at the moment. This isn't going to work either. It makes me, do you see how this makes me look? Because they've deliberately put me where I can't be. I'm going to get sick, and it makes me look like they're doing me a favor when in fact it's the opposite. And last night, I can't hear, and now that I'm in here, I may not be able to hear at all. It may get this ear too. It's got part of it. Well, I was supposed to have a bacterial, and I had up in all of my inner ear and all that. And I don't know, it bled and my nose bled. I don't, as far as I know, I won't get my hearing back. So one day you're alive and one day you're dead. And I don't know if it can affect your eyes, if you get it in it, what exactly all it's in here. But look at the YouTubes and you'll see, and Facebook that I put up last night. And that's just here in this one room. I managed to video it and take pictures. But anyway, I don't know what I was going to say now. I'm just going to stop, and I wanted to say this. I wrote the book about mind control, curing illness or create it. Deaths appear of natural causes, and that's the reason Doctors Warren and Rosina Matthews were killed in Marietta, Georgia. See, that there's something, or I looked at the air conditioning before I came in because I don't have a choice. They took my money and they won't return it. They make you sign a thing, and it doesn't matter what they do. I can't get an attorney. That's the whole thing. If I could get an attorney, and the press would have to cover it, I guess, and it would blast the whole thing, and you'd find out what this country's doing. But anyway, when I came in this morning, I did take the front off the air conditioning. It's not clean, it's horrible, but it's nothing like the one across the hall. But then I'm next to that high voltage, so I don't know. That probably is what's bothering me now. I don't know, because it's just impacted this ear that it's already gone, the hearing. It doesn't seem to bother anybody. In this whole thing, I'm the victim. But they've made money off of me. There have been laws broken that people would go to prison, and I'm talking about a list. Nobody's paid for their crimes. Elizabeth and her dad, the Illuminati that kidnapped me, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Kennedys, my own Uncle George, the illegal six, they've all benefited. Wallace Warfield Simpson and the double. My God. And they hate me because to tell it, if the truth's ever spread out there and you made people listen to it, it's a horror story of me being beat up and my two sons, and I haven't told what was done to them because they're monarchs after me. So I don't know if I'll get this up. When I wrote about the book, it was about mind control. And I was watching Law and Order SVU, and it had Chris Maloney, so it was back a few years. They was still on it with Mariska Hargitay. And in it, it was telling what I've been saying about mind control, using it to program people. And they even had one scientist and doctor they went to, the detectives, and they were telling them about, oh yes, you can put a GPS system in it, a chip, and put it in you. What they're doing that I've told is they put a good place. Most of the place they put it's in a root canal. So there goes your dentist. Excuse me for adding the dentist to the list, but I've already told it. But that's the place most likely, because they can put it in any part of your body, and I can see right now this is not going to work. I don't know what it is, if it has anything to do with that high voltage or not, or just the same old thing. They've done something, and they can turn it on from behind the desk. Anyway, um, if I don't lose my train of thought, I was talking about Chris Maloney and SVU. And this, he was explaining exactly what I have, and you can YouTube, uh, on YouTube, mind control. You can go and there's scientists up there that are telling you about mind control. But anyway, they can GPS you just like they do your dog. Well, I was told that by one of the U.S. Marshals, by Robert and one of the others. But I'd already been told that the police could put me up, had me on a scanner, and they knew everywhere I went. This whole thing is that law enforcement has, if everybody has something to hide, and they'll compromise you. You don't have to, but if you're given the choice and you're not going to pay a price for it, people will go along with hurting me or helping me, whichever way they ask them. But and that's part of this whole thing, because they threaten their kids. So people will, since they're not going to have to pay for it. Hell, I'm getting beat up. I'm this old woman now, 79 years old, so I am the Queen of England. Just call me crazy, even though they know different. And right where I'm at, he deliberately brought well, I'm not going to say it, but anyway, they threaten the children. And as long as they can get away with it, they'll hurt me, anything they're told to do. But I was going to say your IPS, oddly enough, I did not know that you can be tracked by IPS. But I found out, somebody told me the other day. And I'm trying to think what else, but on the Maloney, I say Chris Maloney, he was on there, so it was a few years ago, but on SUV, criminal intent is what it is. They also talked about, like your global government, they were inferring like I have, and all that they could do with it, talking about in the future. Well, it's not in the future. It's been here, and I've been telling about it since '76, and that's when Larry Flint got shot, and I knew that his was a program shooter, and flown out to his home, and I was in the campaign. And I say that because people, they don't want to hear it. I've been told so many times, I don't care. So it's a very cold thing how people have reacted. They're going to go on and live a good life as long as they can. And I can tell right now, they've taken my money. They're not going to refund it. And refund it doesn't diminish the crime, because this has been going on. I look back now, I was never diagnosed until I came here. I didn't know there was a diagnosis for it. I knew that if I got around in close quarters, like sealants and toxic fumes got to me. But normally I should live a normal life. This has been deliberately done. I've told it over and over. I don't know how long I'll live, because I've been threatened. Well, I'll probably end up, and it's not funny at all. I don't know what to do with it except what I'm doing. Anesthesia. I never thought that when I found out about being, my dad being Edward VIII, and the day I was born, because of the addendum, it was a forced abdication, character assassination. I became Victoria II, heir to the British crown. Well, they had to kidnap me. So, I did want to add this. I never knew that I'd be living here in Roanoke, and that's next to Charlottesville, where they killed Anastasia using the mental health system. The Blue Ridge did. And it was on a Sunday, I know, because I had the Larry Flint car. I was driving it with no money. And I went through there, and it was on the radio, May the 4th or 6th of 84. And that woman had a horrible life, but I want to say this before it goes off. I was thinking, the Romanovs, they tried to discredit. Oh gosh, I've forgotten her name, and she was a very nice people. My relatives in Germany. I've forgotten her name. Was married to the Tsar Nicholas, Anastasia's father, and she's the only one that wasn't killed, and she really was Anna. And I had papers that were filed in Charlottesville court that their caretaker that was with Anastasia and her husband Manahan, he was a professor at University of Virginia. Uh, Nobody, he got them for me, and he was told to meet and give them to me. It was a stack about like this. I couldn't carry them because back then, I've forgotten the year, I was still homeless. I didn't have money to even get this and run. And I went to the press with it, and Xerox said they're not going to say anything about any of this unless one day they're forced to. So anyway, I told about the Maloney that, and Christopher. Well, I don't know why I keep saying that. I liked him. He was on the program. So this was an older 3 or 4 years ago when that came up. But it said exactly what I've been telling you, everybody. But people, when they're given a choice of helping me or hurting me, it's just like the FBI agent Noe said in Grottoes, Virginia, when I was pumping gas, 84 to 85. He said, they, and he meant the FBI, have made it so ludicrous that people know you're telling the truth, you couldn't make it up. Gives them a chance to help or walk. And I can tell right now I can't even talk, so whatever's in here, I mean, I just drug all this. There's no reason to put it away because I'm not going to be able to stay. And if I move from here, where do I go? The Patels and Shaws own everything around here just about. And if I try to leave, I'm run back. And now then I can't go to the National Forest because back when I came in here, same reason they run me with Fumes. And that was what the state trooper, Virginia state trooper, said. He gave me his name deliberately, him and his wife Linda, to use. They run me with chemicals. His name's Carl Barton. He's retired. And I guess I'm going to go. I'm losing my train of thought, and I'm sitting here, and I just moved across the hall to here. I've moved. They had me in four. When I first came here, it was all okay, and I prayed that, oh, please let everything be okay. And of course not. I moved across the hall to the handicap, and next door to the handicap, and across back to the same room I started in. And so I can go anywhere. And people do not want to believe. They believe in the end times and all that. You know, I didn't mean to get harp on this at all. But I have a question. Well, I'm not that biblical, but when I found out about my kidnapping, my father wouldn't take orders from the Illuminati. My dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, who was Queen of England in 36, and he was forced to abdicate, it's my understanding, from people who know. And he had an addendum that if he had an heir, the heir would inherit. It wouldn't discredit or disinherit the heir. So I was born Victoria II. And my father wouldn't go along with the Illuminati, so they took him down. And they could control George VI. Maybe he just went along with it so he could take down his brother and became false king. But it happened, and Elizabeth has lived with it very nicely all her life, knowing all about it, that